Hey, what's up, everybody? Good morning and happy Tuesday. Thanks for joining us for the next devotional. We are in Galatians chapter 2, verses 1 through 10. And we see here that Paul is defending himself again against his critics. See, Paul faced an uphill battle most of his ministry as he had to establish himself as an authority in being able to share the gospel, even though he had not been a disciple. And so in chapter 2, he goes back to Jerusalem. This is probably his second visit back to Jerusalem, 14 years after his conversion, to go and meet with Peter, James, and John, guys who were huge in the faith and were doing a lot for the early Christian movement. But Paul says he did it because he wanted to make sure, in verse 2 it says, that he was not running and had not been running in vain. Paul wanted to make sure that the gospel and ministry that he was carrying out was going to go to the ends of the earth and that it was going to reach the unreached people. But he had this uphill battle, like we were talking about, because some people didn't see him as an authority because he hadn't been a disciple. As we look back now, that seems kind of silly, considering Paul wrote most of the New Testament and he's the greatest missionary the world's ever seen to the Gentile people. But for us as Christians, it can be important to remember that human recognition and status doesn't really determine your faithfulness to God. You don't have to be Peter, James, and John, one of the original disciples, to make a huge impact in the world. In fact, remember when Jesus was around, Paul was trying to arrest Christians. Any background can serve the Lord, and any person's faithfulness and desire to share the gospel can be used by God. So don't ever think of yourself as being unqualified or unworthy to be an amazing figure and example for others. Being a light for Christ only requires that we share the gospel with others and live a life in submission to Jesus. It doesn't mean that we have to get some stamp of approval from the church. God wants you to be faithful to Him and sharing His message and the Great Commission and faithfulness to others. And so, especially during this time of quarantine, just remember that you don't have to have anybody come and tell you that you are a light for Christ. You can start being one on your own. All right. Hey, we'll see you guys Thursday. Remember, check in YouTube for all of the other ministry things and videos that we've got going on. Have a great day.